Chimigwich Charlie, Chimigwich Chancellor, Chimigwich Archer, and Naomi for those lovely honors. I'm humbled by the nominators and the Governing Council, and I thank all of you for this most wonderful honor. Congratulations to the Innis class of 2026. What an accomplishment for all of you. I hope that you are as proud of yourselves as I know all of your families are of you in this moment, and as I know my family is of me. And I know that they were also proud 30 years ago when I was seated where you are, graduating from Innis and the University of Toronto. It was touch and go for a minute that I would even make it here 30 years ago. Now my family doesn't know this, but they're about to. I actually flunked my only class ever at U of T in my final year, an English class of all things. It's not my fault. It was at 9 a.m. It was a poor choice. It was across the campus from my apartment. We all know. Don't do that. You're not going to go. I was so terrified that I would not graduate when my parents thought I was going to, so I picked up an extra philosophy class and made it to graduation on time. When I was seated there, where you are, I had no idea what the next 30 years had in store for me, what I would do, where I would go, who I would meet along the way, all the things that would go right and all the things that would go wrong. And standing here, now knowing all of those things, I find myself repeating something I've heard many times but never truly believed until I had lived it myself. I wouldn't change a thing. Not the heartbreak nor the heartache, not the tragedies or missteps. I would keep them all. I learned from every one of them, and every one of them made success all the sweeter and all the more possible. Every one of them made it possible for me to be standing here in the way I am today. What I did know when I was seated where you were is that I loved movies and wanted to be a part of them somehow, and that the movies did not reflect who I was. As a movie-obsessed kid, I rarely saw myself in them. Oh, I saw First Nations people, but not anyone that reminded me of my family. And I didn't see people that were like me behind the camera either. When I came to study at U of T, I didn't find them in the books about the history of movies either, except maybe as footnotes or in the captions of photos. For me, sitting there where you are today, that's what I wanted to change about the world. I wanted to see my community and myself reflected in the stories that get told to the world. That if the world could know our stories, then perhaps they could also learn to know us as human beings. 30 years ago, from my seat in this very hall, my thought was that I would be someone who would make those movies, tell those stories. That's not exactly what happened. Instead, I've spent my career trying to help build the space for many others to tell their stories, while also learning to tell my own. And since I'm standing here accepting this honor, I'm guessing I've done okay. Whether it was speaking truth on the radio, programming Indigenous movies at film festivals, working to change laws to ensure Indigenous storytellers are supported, helping found funding bodies, or mentoring the next generation of storytellers, my goals have remained the same: to see our stories share the same spaces as the stories that have been told about us. I see myself and my community now in the stories told all across Turtle Island. And I know that in time, those stories will make us fully known, and they will help us heal and make this place stronger in the process. It's another cliche, but I have also found it to be true, which is that you can be the change you want to see in this world. And this world needs an abundance of change. I can't possibly know what all of you want to change about this world. I hope it's lots. What I know is that it will be hard, but it is very possible. You may not even be aware that you are doing it when you are doing it, but it is possible. Be open to what it looks like. There is no one path to change, and no change that happens in isolation. Change is incremental, exactly till it isn't. So celebrate the small steps so that you are prepared to take the big leaps when they present themselves. And they will present themselves, especially if you've worked on all the little steps in advance. Please know that you are already enough, so that you do not need to bring change, but also know that we trust that you will because of who you are. Be kind to your failures, for they are your greatest teachers, and that is not a crack at your professors. That is simply something I've learned through lots of trial and mostly error. And equally, be kind to yourself in success, for it's when we reach the summit that our inner critics are the loudest. Be humble, but occupy your space. Your ancestors place you where you are meant to be, and they would never challenge you with something that you can't overcome. I have questioned them from time to time. This, really? But they have always been right. And please, most of all, be yourselves. It took me a long time to be comfortable with myself, so I hope you can get there sooner. So in closing, please lead lives where you would do it all over again. Experience it all. Change the world. I know you will, and I can't wait to see the stories you will tell. Miigwech, 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 chi miigwech. I say it 4 times to acknowledge all 4 directions. Thank you.